today our focus is going to be on Goa. And the latest political entrant to Goa politics is tennis legend Leander Paes. He has been, an icon of sports for several decades. But will he be able to serve an ace to his political opponents? Known as doubles number one throughout his career. How is his Jodi with Didi going to play out? We're going to ask all of that to the man himself. Leander Paes joining us. Many thanks for joining us. Mr. Leander Paes, it's been a few days since you joined politics. We see that you already started your campaigns. How is it going?
Good morning, Pratibha. It's an honor to be on the show with you in a different vehicle. Yes, I've hit a few aces when it comes to tennis, but now with getting into politics, it's really interesting. I've gained so much of knowledge over the last 1 month of reading and meeting the people and going out into the community and working with them. This morning is my second day at campaigning, and we started off at a Hanuman temple. We met the Panditji there, got his blessings. We met the Hindu community there and interacted with them, which was wonderful. Then after that, we went into South Goa, into Tolikanto, where my forefathers are from my paternal side. And we went door to door, meeting the different people in the community. We went to a fishing village just now and met the fisher folk there who their livelihood comes from our backwaters here in South Goa. So it's been a phenomenal journey. And for me, really, to come in after 30 years of serving the country, playing tennis, to now serve the people is something that motivates me a lot.
Okay, so, I wanted to come to the whys next. Why politics, why TMC, and why Goa? Of course, you've answered a bit of why politics. So why Goa and why TMC?
Well, why politics, as I just touched upon? I served the people of our country over the last 30 years and try to do India proud on the professional sports circuit. Also, doing it, playing 7 Olympics for India and getting that world record for India, one is really proud of playing for the flag. That being said, now the vehicle has moved and has gone into politics where one can serve the people, and I feel that after 30 years of serving the country, now to come into India and make a difference in India through the Trinamool party is an honor for me. Didi is the captain of our team, and Mamta Didi is someone I've known since I was about 8 years old. When I was in my teens, trying to embark on a professional tennis career, she helped me out a lot and made a big difference in my career. And she's a lady who is a person of her word. She stands by what she says, and she's a very capable leader. She is someone that I believe in. And in that, the reason I joined the Trinamool party is because of Didi and the members of the party. I believe that our philosophy is about India for one. And in that, India is the largest democracy in the world. And for us, we believe that we are not a one religion party. We are a very democratic party. And at the same time, we support everybody. We have 41% members from the women community. And for us, that is really important, where the leader of our party is a lady. And she leads with such great leadership. And we've got a huge women community in our party to make a difference. I think equality, safety, opportunity for everybody is the essence of what a democratic country is all about. And for me, I believe that, personally, I believe that regardless of what religion or caste you come from or what dialect you speak, we are all Indians. And we come back to support our country.
Okay, so this was something I think not many know of the equation that you shared with Didi, even before you entered politics. Would you want to tell us a little more about that?
Sure, Pratibha. I was a young man in Calcutta growing up, and I had embarked on a tennis career. And when I was about 15, 16 years old, I had to travel internationally. And back then in the 80s, Pratibha, there was no foreign exchange, there was no credit cards, no foreign bank accounts, there was no corporate sponsorship in tennis. And Didi was the sports minister at that time. And my father and myself went to her and asked for support. And without batting an eyelid, she straight away came forward and supported me. She got a few corporate companies to come in and support my tennis career. And at the same time, she gave me the required assistance that I needed to embark on my tennis career. So for me, Didi's always been a woman of her word. And that's something that's the reason I call her my champion, because she's always supported me in what I believe in. And likewise here, just as I've switched vehicles from a professional sporting career to politics, she really has been very encouraging, and she shares a lot of knowledge and interactions with me to guide me along on how best I can serve up.
There's a lot of credit that you give to Mamata Banerjee. So this is a relationship that goes back several decades, and it's great that you come into politics with her. But looking at what happened in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee had been saying, and this is something that she accused BJP of, that you're para-dropping leaders who are not from this state. So there's not going to be a people connect. So do you see the same charge coming onto the TMC now, or do you see a similar charge being thrown at you that, you've not necessarily been a complete Goan, but now you're going to, enter electoral politics from here?
It's very interesting that you ask the question in that regard, that you've not been a complete Goan. Well, it's true that my father is of Goan heritage. My paternal side are from South Goa. My grandfather was born in Tolikanto and my grandmother was born in Veli. But at the same time, my mother is Bengali. At the end of the day, I'm an Indian. And that's what's important. For 30 years, I've represented not one fragment of the society. I've not represented one caste. I've not represented one religion, Pratibha. I've gone out to represent India, the saffron, white and green with a chakra right in the middle. I've gone to represent 1.3 billion people. For me, India is one. And in that, if I can make a difference to serve the people as one, not as fragments of society, I think that is where the problem is. I think that is where governance should be used to unite people. Governance is not to find different fragments of society. That is the exact reason that I've come into politics, to prove and to show that we are one unity. We are one community. We are one country. We're one people. And if we all unite together and we all speak the word of democracy, if we all speak the word of how each and every one of us can come together to create better opportunity for the next generation, that is what I stand for. We are the youngest democratic country in the world. Approximately 745 million children under the age of 26 is our population. That being said, if I can use my broad shoulders and my branding and my friendships and relationships throughout the country and the world to make a difference to even one young kid here, whether it's a sports scholarship, whether it is portable drinking water, whether it is basic essentials, whether it's water, roadways, electricity, food, whether it's creating jobs. I think these are things that are basic essentials which not every young Indian child gets. And for me and you, we have been very blessed to be born into the families where our parents have given us this opportunity. So after 30 years of representing the country, doing the country proud in Wimbledon and in the Olympics and Davis Cup, now it's time to come home and actually deal with hard issues of the likes that I just mentioned: water, electricity, education, job opportunities, fisher folk whose livelihoods are fishing every day here in South Goa. And when I talked to them this morning, Pratibha, it's so relevant to see that in the last decade, fishing in Goa has decreased by 85%. 85%, that's a lot. What happens to those fisher folk who for 4 or 5 months don't have a living because of the monsoon seasons? They can't put their boats in the water. Because of band seasons, they can't put their boats in the water. What happens to them for 4 or 5 months? What happens to their children? So these are hard issues, right? So for me, I think that coming and making a difference to them, and it's not just about talking, Pratibha. My history behind me proves that I'm a man of my word and I've done what I've proclaimed I'm going out to do. So here, gaining the knowledge of what the people need, it's not like I can solve every problem. No, I need a big team to do that. I need to unite the whole country to do that. But in that, wherever I can make a difference, whether it's to the fisher folk, whether it's to the youth, whether it is to education or to sports education, or whether it is to come and deal with hard issues like simple drinking water. 50% of Goa does not have proper drinking water. 6 talukas of Goa out of 12 do not have drinking water. Portable drinking water is where it's at. So now we are trying to deal with those issues to see If one is empowered and given the opportunity to make a difference, we are going to do that. And it's more about being a doer rather than just talking about it, Pratibha. I think that is the essence of good governance.
Absolutely, and we can see that you're very grounded in the situation in Goa. You're well aware of the problems that the people are facing as well, and I think that's very important for anyone, not just starting out in politics, but also planning to continue longer in politics. So is this a long-term plan? Because very often bigger personalities are accused of this, that this is something you just dabble with politics for some time. If it works, it works. If not, then you might just move on to the next big thing. So that is a worry perhaps the people could have as well. So what would you say to that?
Well, I think my career in sport goes to prove that I'm here to stay. I've had a very long career in sport. I played till I was about 47 years old, and playing 7 Olympics and getting India the world record for the most Olympics ever played goes to prove how I have the patience and the aptitude to stay and persevere. Also, that being said, I've just joined politics. So for me right now, it's very interesting that you're asking me a question is how long are you going to stay? I've just started, so in that, it's about really making a difference. It's not about just the length of time that you stay. It's about how potent one's governance can be. How potent can one be in the instrument of change, in the instrument of doing good? If I can use my vehicle and make a difference to Indians all across India, that is really what it's about. Okay. As far as the length of time, that will prove itself, won't it, Pratibha?
Absolutely. So people can see it for themselves. But when it comes to TMC, it does not have much of a presence now currently in Goa. How many seats do you expect the TMC to win?
Well, I'm not one to gamble. I'm not one to go out there and predict things. But the beauty of it is that the TMC have come into Goa fresh and new. There is no baggage behind us. There's no baggage behind me, and that's the beautiful part. If you look at the state of Goa, the governance over the last, I would say, 2 decades has been so unique here. It's very fragmentalized. There are people that jump from one party to another. There's very fragmentalized. There are so many independents. Everyone's talking about a coalition now. And in that being said, I think that when you look at the way that governance is done here, they're all talking about the Christians being one party, the Muslims being one party, the independents being a different party, the Hindus being one party. Well, I look at it as one India. We're all together. For me, it doesn't matter what religion or what caste you come from. What matters is that we're all playing to one flag, saffron, white, and green. We are one community as Indians. So for me, I think that is the essence of it, is good governance. I don't look at politics as being a religion. I look at politics as being a business towards good governance. And if you can look at the great leaders of the world, Pratibha, they have conducted themselves in politics as good governance. They look at it as a business, and they look at in each department where there's an issue, how they look after that in a very professional, corporate kind of structure. There have to be systems. And for me, I'm very happy that Mamta Didi has given me a great team behind me to support me. I am very honored to work with Mamta Banerjee and her vision and her leadership, because she gives so much of freedom and support with guidance to basically be the best I can be. And in that, it's the greatest honor for me after a 30-year long career of playing for the country and doing the country proud, now to come back and serve the people. It does not matter what caste you come from, what religion you come from, what language you speak, or which part of the country you come from. For me, we are one India, and to make India a great country is really what my vision is.
Okay, so a lot of what you've spoken about is the fact that it's become so fragmented, and not just in Goa, across the country as well. So how do you view the politics of today, and from Goa's perspective as well? Do you see a change, whether it's due to politics or various reasons? Do you see a big change in how things were before and now over the last few years? What do you think of the political discourse in the country?
Well, I think that there are several different parties throughout the country. If you look at Goa as an example, specific to your question, there are so many independent parties. Everyone's talking of a coalition. Will the BJP and the Congress come together? Will Aam Aadmi Party support the BJP? Will Trinamool find a coalition with either Congress or with Aam Aadmi or with other parties? I think there's a lot of mind games being played. There's a lot of people talking about things that are maybe not so relevant. I think the issues that we deal with here in Goa, and that's where the relevance is. To talk about those real issues and how we are going to make a change. Let's talk of mining. The Supreme Court themselves, in an order, has said that 35,000 crores have been taken from our rich soil of Goa and dispersed out to other states. To me, why is not that richness of our soil in Goa benefiting the Goans? Why is that richness of our Goan soil not creating jobs for our fellow Goans? Why is not even 1 rupee of that 35,000 crores going back into the community to benefit the youth, to benefit our community? To me, I feel like when you look at India as a whole, we are so rich as a country. And when you look at state after state, Pratibha, if we can look at state after state using the local richness that we have to create education, to create jobs, to create health, to create opportunity for our locals in that state. What I'm trying to say is, why not teach the youth, give them a vocation? Why not give them education? Why not empower the youth to get a job? Why not empower our young girls and our young boys to stand on their own 2 feet? The issues that are there, I can rattle them off one by one to you because I literally have been reading our constitution. I know our constitution. I know what we stand for. But the point is not just knowing, the point is implementing. The point is being a doer and making a difference. And that's what I want to do if given the opportunity.
Okay, these are some of the issues that definitely affect the people, and it's great that you are well aware of what Goa needs for any kind of improvement. But politics. Do you think that your view might be a little too idyllic? Because politics, unfortunately, may be a far cry from, say, the Class C or the very different life of sports that you might have seen. So, do you think in politics, whether you like it or not, you might be dragged into a bit of, say, blame game, and if politics could get dirty at times? So do you think that your view of it may be a little too idyllic?
That's a great question. Sure, I am an idealist. I think that most successful people strive for greatness. They kind of swim against the tide. Coming into politics, I've been warned so much about the dirtiness of politics, or getting dragged into the blame game, I think you said. For me, I'm not about that. I have played globally and represented one flag and one people globally around the world. And I've had many opponents. I've had many adversaries. I'm not here to point fingers at different parties and say they're not doing this or they're wrong or they're that. I think the people are wise enough to see it. For me, I have friends everywhere. I could sit today with any party and any member from any party and talk to them as one Indian. For me, I think that it's about doing good, Pratibha. It's not about pointing fingers and saying this one's not good, this one's corrupt, this one's doing a blame game. It's not about that. That's kind of wasting time. For me, about what it's about dealing with real issues and being a doer, making a difference. When you talk about winning and losing, there's a famous poet called Rudyard Kipling, and he wrote a beautiful poem called If. And a passage of that poem sits on top of the center court doors at Wimbledon. And it's not just a passage of a poem that's at Wimbledon, which is the mecca of my tennis career, but it's also a metaphor for life. And that passage from Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, it reads, "If you can handle triumph and disaster and treat these two imposters just the same." For me, winning and losing is not necessarily only in our hands. It's taqdeer, it's karma, it's fate. But really what is in our hands is doing the best we can do to make a difference. And that's what I'd like to focus on. Not pointing fingers at others or other parties, but actually creating friendships and dialogue and communication as one people of Indian origin, regardless of whether we come from West Bengal or Gujarat or Delhi or Goa or different caste or different religion. We are one people. We unite to make a difference in our community. And that's what I'd like to focus on.
Okay, so that's very beautiful. Since you mentioned your sporting career, your equation with Mahesh Bhupathi was, one of the biggest scandals in the sporting world as well. And very recently, you've opened up about it as well. You had earlier said that you can never forgive him, but now recently you said that you regret not picking up the phone and just talking to him. So, are you going to bring in your lessons from that? Because firstly, do you think that back then as well, when the controversy was going on, do you think you took the bad press for it a lot? Because I mean, a lot of things that were written. Do you think you had to face a lot of bad press regarding the same? And what are the lessons that you have learned from it?
I've had a phenomenal relationship with the press. And over the years, I've always respected people, regardless of what their vocation and their jobs are. And I think that when you treat people as human beings and you give them respect and you greet them good morning and ask them how they're doing and really mean it, or when you get involved in their families and their parents and their children and really care for people, they generally actually work with you really well. And it doesn't take much to make someone's day with just a simple smile or just a little bit of genuineness. So Pradeepa, with me, I've been very fortunate to have friends all across the world through all different walks of life. So really, I can't really sit here and say that Mahesh was wrong, I was right, I was wrong, he was right. At the end of the day, we proved to India that we were world beaters. We proved that Indians can be number one in the world in anything. We were the first Indian team, total Indian team, to be number one in the world in any profession. And in that, I celebrate and respect Mahesh for that. In that, we proved that we could win Wimbledon, that we could win Davis Cup matches, that we could win Grand Slams. And when you look at both of our careers, we've done fairly well, The beautiful part is that we've always remained friends. We've always had a great bond and a respect for each other. Sure, we're different, but that is something we also celebrate. We're very different in values. We're very different in the way that we conduct ourselves. We have different personalities, you see. But I think the important part of life, Pratibha, is not really to condemn someone's differences, but really to respect them and honor them. It comes back to the same things we are talking about in your second question. It doesn't matter what religion we come from. It doesn't matter what caste we come from. It doesn't matter what dialect we speak or how we look. Whether we are fair or we are dark, does not matter. The fact is that we are one community. We are Indians. We play under the saffron, white and green with a chakra in the middle. And to me, that's what's important. It doesn't matter which part of the country you're from, that you play for one flag, you play for one people.
That's true. That's very beautiful. I just, I have one last question to you. Over the last few days, something that you've been making news for is also your private life. So congratulations on that. But when it comes to politics, if you don't mind me asking, that is, there's a lot, how people view when it is, say, sports stars or film stars, it's completely different from, when it is somebody from politics. So was it a conscious decision that, I'm going to be open about my private life and I don't worry about anything that might be written, or was it something that happened very organically?
The way you actually put your question is really interesting. It's quite cute because you actually say, are you really open about your private life? I don't think anything private about our lives nowadays. I mean, when you're an achiever,
that's true.
Everything in your life is out there in the open. And for me, I've always lived my life very honestly. I've always lived my life very clear, very open, if you want to call it. And in that, I respect everybody in having their own life, and I have mine. So as far as that goes, I'm blessed and I've earned my respect. I'm blessed to go out there and live my life very clear, very open, very real. And the one thing you will always get from Leander is real. You will always get passion. You will always get patriotism. You will always get, a man who will do the best that he can do. So everyone's viewpoint could be different. I'm very lucky that 90% or 99% of the world, give me great responses. And I'm sure there are some people who are against me, and that's fine. I'll respect them for it. And if there's something valid to it, I will learn for it too. But at the end of the day, we live a beautiful life, Pratibha, and some of us are blessed to be able to live it on our terms. And that is what I like to encourage, is that if one child in our country can learn from my lifestyle or from my values or my ethics, the way I live my life, then job well done, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we are patriots, and we want to encourage our youth to live their dream. We want to encourage them to live big and live their dream, to be the best they can be. I was one young kid who, on the back streets of India, was playing gully cricket and gully football. Today, I sit with 7 Olympics under my belt and 6 Wimbledons under my belt. And if that can be an example to our youth to be successful in any walk of life they choose, then it's a job well done.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. And
Thank
you've been
you.
a sports legend all your life, and I wish you the same success in your political career as well. Thank you so much for joining us on this show.